Democratic National Convention is open for business amid a new burst of discord. Calls for unity from Hillary Clinton's camp are competing with cries of foul from backers of Bernie Sanders. Correspondent John Yang begins our coverage here in Philadelphia.
The divisions were on display right from the start when Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rollins Blake gambled the convention into session. It was to have been Democratic National Committee Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz, but a firestorm erupted among Sanders supporters after WikiLeaks posted DNC emails that showed party officials criticizing and even mocking the Sanders campaign during the primaries.
You don't care about half the party!
This morning, the Florida Congresswoman got a tumultuous welcome from her own home delegation's breakfast.
We have so much to do, and we have to make sure that we move forward together in a unified way. We know that the voices in this room that are standing up and being disruptive, we know that that's not the Florida that we know.
Wasserman Schultz had already announced her resignation as party chairman at the end of the convention. Some Sanders supporters say it's not enough.
We want to actually unite the party. All we're asking for is the person who resigned in disgrace to leave the room.
I'm very upset because I think that Bernie, if not has tied, may have actually won this election if he had been treated fairly.
The embattled Congresswoman is already facing a tough primary challenge from law professor Tim Canova, who's being backed by Sanders. Addressing supporters, Sanders urged party unity and got booed himself.
We have got to defeat Donald Trump, and we have got to elect Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine.
He says the email leaks won't change his endorsement of Clinton, but it remains to be seen what his delegates do. In the streets of Philadelphia, thousands of Sanders supporters braved the blistering heat to vent their anger.
I'm not a Republican, but I agree with Ted Cruz. We have to vote our conscience. We can't vote the way we're told.
As this convention's business gets underway, the DNC has issued a deep and sincere apology to Sanders and his supporters. Sanders will be the featured speaker here tonight, appearing after Michelle Obama and Senator Elizabeth Warren. Clinton campaign officials say they hope this uproar will be long forgotten by week's end and that the gathering will live up to its theme of united together. Meanwhile, the FBI is investigating how the thousands of DNC emails found their way to WikiLeaks. Clinton campaign manager Robbie Mook suggests it's the work of Russian hackers hoping to give Donald Trump a boost. Trump calls that claim a joke. He campaigned today in Roanoke, Virginia.
Hillary Clinton knew what was going on. She knew everything that was going on. She knew it's a rigged system, that Bernie Sanders never had a chance, okay? He never had a chance. And if you look at it, look what's going on. They're having a lot of people marching. Now, a lot of those people are going to vote for us.
Today, Hillary Clinton got the endorsement of retired U.S. Marine General John Allen, once the top U.S. commander in Afghanistan. In a statement, he said, "I have no doubt that she is the leader we need at this time to keep our country safe, and I trust her with that most sacred responsibility of commander-in-chief." Clinton picked up that theme at the annual convention of the Veterans of Foreign Wars.
You will never hear me say that I only listen to myself on national security. I will be ready to get to work on day one. I take nothing more seriously than our security.
Trump is to address the same gathering tomorrow. In Philadelphia, the 5,000 delegates have gathered under tight security, along with an estimated 45,000 journalists, activists, and other observers. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm John Yang in Philadelphia.
Later this afternoon, Senator Sanders sent out emails and text messages urging supporters not to boo or to stage walkouts. We head down to the convention floor now with NPR's Weekend Edition Sunday host, Rachel Martin, who joins us tonight and every night this week as part of our joint PBS NewsHour and NPR convention coverage. Rachel, it doesn't seem like Bernie Sanders' plea worked.
Yeah, Glenn, that's right. I mean, You heard it there in John's piece. There is real discord in the Democratic Party right now. You know, after Cleveland, after the Republican National Convention, Hillary Clinton and her campaign had to deal with all these personal attacks on her. They were hoping that this would be a very different moment, that this would be a moment when the so-called Democratic family would come together, wrap her up in all kinds of love and support. That is not the case, at least not thus far on day one of this convention. There has been all kind of booing every time someone takes this stage and says it's time to come together and for all of us to get behind the candidacy of Hillary Clinton. There is audible booing in this auditorium, even when Bernie supporters come up and say that. Ben Jealous, the head of the NAACP, strong Bernie Sanders supporter, when he got up, he got booed. As John mentioned in his piece, Bernie Sanders himself was booed at a breakfast earlier today. So this is going to be the challenge of people who come to the podium today to try to deliver a message that makes those Bernie Sanders voters feel enfranchised, feel that they are a part of this party and that their issues are being considered really at the heart of the Democratic platform. We'll hear, of course, tonight from Bernie Sanders himself, also Elizabeth Warren, a key leader in the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, and then Michelle Obama, the First Lady, who has sky-high favorable ratings. They're hoping that she can kind of bring everyone together in this moment. Back to you, Gwen and Judy.
I thought it was fitting to start with this video to kind of give us background, because you might be saying, 2023, just give it another chance, one more shot. The progressive Democrats are this or that, but this is 7 years ago, 7 coming up on 8 years ago, where this happened in 2016 with Bernie Sanders. And you saw what happened at the convention. You saw some of the booing that was going on. And then you fast forward 6-7 years, has the progressive movement within the Democratic Party gotten better? What signs do we see that between 2016 and 2023, there has been a movement forward, or there has been movement forward for the progressive movement? Has there been movement forward for Medicare for all since 2016? Has there been a movement forward for $15 minimum wage? Now, the $15 number comes from 2014, 2015. That's where, so we're talking about 7 years later, we still don't have $15 minimum wage, and we need about $28, $29 an hour at this point. So what are we doing if we can look back on these stories about Bernie Sanders and what happened with the progressives in 2016, and we can look back 7, almost 8 years later? What has tangibly changed? What has the strategy of working within the Democratic Party produced? What do we have from it? And it is my testimony, we don't have anything. We have absolutely nothing. So they cheated Bernie Sanders then. They're not going to be holding debates now. And we're just going to go, we're just going to keep on going along, ticking along with this party. We're going to just keep on pushing against the party that does not want us. I just don't get it. I don't get at what point are you going to be fed up? I'm talking to just all of us that are regular, all of our regular people here. At what point are you going to be fed up? I felt like I needed to take it back to 2016, and I think I'm going to start doing that, playing a lot of the 2016 shenanigans to wake people up. Because one thing to go, oh yeah, I remember they cheated him, but to see the stories, to read the articles, to see the actual clips and segments, it gives a different feel. And I think it's important, especially when we're talking about revisiting this nonsense again.